Hello everyone, today I'm working on this GP38-2 lettered for C and according to the box it's got an NCE decoder, so we're about to find out what's in it. So that's got some nice detail. Here the handrail's disconnected, but that's not going to be hard to fix. A lot of really neat extra details, including the number boards. Really cool stuff, and the painted handrails. It's very nice. It's a little dusty, but that's easy to fix. And in the box there's the instructions, though I'm not sure I'll be needing that today. So it's got instructions in there. They're wanting to be stubborn. They've been in there for a while, I guess. They've been in there for a little while. There's the exploded view diagram. It's nice to have. I don't think I'm going to be needing this. And it's got also the limited warranty. That's been expired for a while. So yeah, the decoder, I'm not 100% sure that it will work. So I guess the only way to know is to go try it on the track. I'm going to start by removing the shell here, just to confirm that there is a decoder. Yeah, so that kind of looks like a decoder. I'm gonna magnify it just to see if I can read the NCE in there anywhere. There's a little dirt I found over here, so for sure that's gonna need to be cleaned. But let's see how it runs before. There's also a little bit of scenery foam on the shell. So for sure I'll be cleaning this. I always do that first. It gives it time to dry out while I'm working on my drive system. Well, let's see what we got. So I'm gonna do easy. I'm just gonna do select loco and 3. And then let's see if anything happens. Nothing's happening. That's not necessarily bad. I'm just gonna do a recovery program on it. I actually did something really easier. I said the locomotive cab number 4923 and then enter. That actually worked, so that's good. That was easy. So it's hesitating a little bit. I'm sure it could use a good cleaning. So that's okay. That's what I'm good at. Alright, so let's do this. So first thing I'm going to do, I think, remove the fuel tank. And then I'll remove these 2 screws here. That's going to give me access to separate the frames. I have my box close by if I want to put some of the parts in it, but I think it's going to be okay. I'll remove the light shield. There's a little white dot there. I don't think I like that. I could paint it, but I have my Sharpie right here. So I think that's going to do the trick. There. I like that much better. So as I spread this out, I'm going to pay attention to the orientation of my trucks. So I'll just spread this out just a little bit from the end. should give me just enough slack to drop the trucks here. There we go. And the front one too. And then I can get rid of the 2 screws. This one's being a little bit stubborn. Give it a chance. Sometimes that happens. Yeah, I guess I have to unscrew it all the way out. So here we go. Now I have to work on these 4 tabs. If the contact strips fall out, that's okay. Yeah, it says on the frame there, Atlas 1997. Boy, time sure flies. Yeah, these split frame engines, that's what made the hobby possible. Because with them we had some really good running end scale engines. I know if you remember my video with the F40PH, but for a while there that's all I could afford, that type of engine. These are much better running. Really is a lot more fun to run trains with these. I'm gonna speed this up a little bit for you guys. So because I have a lot of scenery foam in here, I'm gonna want to wash the frame halves. So the decoder has to come out. And we can maybe read a little bit of this stuff. But oh yeah, it tells you front here. Doesn't necessarily say NCE anywhere, but that sounds plausible to me. So that, of course, I will not put this under the tap. I'll just wipe it with my fingers. That should be enough. Actually, make these contact patches, make sure that they're clean. But just wiping it with my fingers should be enough to clean it. And then I'm going to remove the motor also and the worm gear. Yeah, there's a lot of scenery foam in there, so that's going to have to be cleaned. So the worm gears, they should come out nice and easy. I just have to loosen these 2 engine cradle mounts here. So once you have the engine cradle mount loose, these will come out nice and easy. And I'll remove the bottom ones too. And that will release my motor mount. So I'm going to inspect the motor. It turns very freely. So because it has no problems, I'm not doing anything other than cleaning it with my fingers. But that's it. That's all I need to do. Thing of beauty. I'm gonna run my frames under my tap with my toothbrush, and also we'll clean the worm gears. Now my 2 frame halves are nice and clean. I'm gonna look into the worm gears now. So this little bearing that can just go out. And you know what? I'm gonna clean that little gasket. Try to focus on it. That little round gasket. That I think it helps with the thrust. And it's important to keep it there. But I'm going to work on this part. All I do is I'll clean it with my rag. I'll clean it with my rag I'll put my nail in it and I'll just wind it with my nail in the groove, and then it's going to clean most of it off. There, you can see it on my rag, all the extra grease that I remove. So I could do it maybe 1 or 2 times, as much as it takes to get it clean. And then you don't have to go nuts with the lubrication, just 1 drop. That's going to be enough for that. So I just removed the lint from that little washer, and I'll stick it on there. And with the other bearing, that's the exact same thing. I just clean it with my rag. And that's perfect. So that's going to be ready for a reassembly. Now I'm going to reintroduce my motor back on the frame with the 2 worm gears. I'm not going to snap it in completely. I'm just going to start reintroducing everything, and then I'll start the 2 top notches there. Before I put it fully in, I'm going to align the little square bearings in their proper place. I want to make sure that I'm happy with everything before I click the engine cradle. So these look good, and we'll do the 2 front one at the same time. Yeah, so that looks pretty good. So I'm going to keep reintroducing it to the frame. You can rotate it with your finger, make sure nothing's interfering. At this point I can even try it with my DC power pack, just to make sure I'm happy with everything. I always keep an old DC power pack. I put it on the floor, and I have 2 wires leading up to the workbench. So that runs very quiet. I'm really happy with that. There's a couple of frame insulators that go with this. So I took them out for washing because I didn't want to lose them. But it's important not to forget them. If the 2 frame halves touch each other, then you have a short circuit and you're not going anywhere. So that's no fun. So pretty much you absolutely need these. Although if you lose them, I suppose you could spread the 2 frame halves with a little bit of styrene, or maybe even some cardboard. But it's so much nicer to have the correct stuff together. I'm almost ready to put the second frame half on it. So I'm gonna put the DCC board back on. So as you can see, make sure that these 2 contacts sit on the board. That is extremely important. If they're not in the proper place, you won't be going anywhere. Even though the decoder might work perfectly, if it can't give power to your motor, that would be bad. So this one I have to bend up just a little bit. This one I have to bend down just a little bit. And then they have to touch the bottom of the decoder just right. That is so important. Yes, that looks really good. And I'm gonna reintroduce the other half of the frame. So you have to be careful, you have to be mindful of the cradle, the engine cradle, but also these 2 tabs here. Let me just get the top angel cradle started. Oh yeah, really wanted to go back to its place. So that's awesome. For a good reliable operation, this is the most important part, the wheels. So we got to take this apart and clean them. So that however long it takes, take your time. It's not a race. So you have the side frames, the 2 contact strips, and the wheels and the gears. So these actually don't look too dirty. Somebody, however, took a lot of time to really lubricate them. I don't think it's necessary to do that. So here's what I do. I clean them under the water. Actually don't look too bad. I'm going to clean them under the water with some soap. Oh, look at that. I found a little treasure there. That's actually enough to stop me. It's enough to stop the locomotive. I can still feel some more dirt or foam or whatever it is in there. So I'm going to see if I can clean this up, and then I'll go wash it. Oh, look at that. It's ginormous. That is a lot of dirt for a little gear. So definitely worth taking it apart to take that off. So after I get them washed with the water and the soap, I still clean them with my rag, just to be 100% sure. Yeah, that looks real good. Perfect. Now I can start putting everything back together. And then I can put my little contact strips. Make sure you put the ends of the axles in their bearing caps. Very important. Test it with your finger. Make sure everything's running well. And then the same with the side frames. They'll click in when they're in there, and then check it again with your finger to make sure you're happy with everything. Yeah, that looks real good. Now I'm ready to put everything back. So these, because I don't have my screws in, they should go just in. They should go right in. So I'm always careful to put them back in the same order that they were when I took them out. Now I can put my 2 screws back in. Now I'm gonna go try this on the track, just to make sure that everything's working properly before I put the shell back on. If there's a problem, I save myself a lot of time. So this goes back in. They don't have to be very tight, just hand tight. Check that your contact strips are oriented properly. So this one, it does have a direction where it goes. Obviously the fuel gauge and the fuel cap goes towards the cab, towards the front of the engine. So let's go try this on the track. So it runs really good. Headlight, I have to give it about 10 before it starts running, but it's a good runner. So I'm gonna put the shell back on. So everything worked out good. Turned out to be a good little runner. So let me get the shell back on. And now it's time to run some trains. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. I certainly had fun making it for you. See you soon.